Hi guys, and welcome back to another video on Modest Lucario Gaming, and today we've got another Yu-Gi-Oh video. Money makes the world go round. Everybody that has it spends on whatever they want, they have no problems, and it's the same with Yu-Gi-Oh. People who have the cash, they say, Droplets? Easy. 3 of them, no bother. DP packages, Dragoon packages, Prosperities, the Lightning Storms of the world, all of them. No problem for the people that have money. So, in this video, I'm going to do a few little budget alternatives for some of the most expensive cards in the game that some people kind of want, but don't have the cash to kind of go out and get. So, first up, we've got probably one of the most expensive staples in the game right now, Forbidden Droplets. So, Forbidden Droplets is kind of sitting around the £70 mark, give or take. So, it's kind of expensive. That's £210 for a playset. So, you're thinking to yourself, budget alternative to Forbidden Droplets. Do you really need me to tell you? It's pretty straightforward. It's Forbidden Chalice. Forbidden Chalice, you can kind of get them for around about £2 a copy if you're okay with the common. But honestly, the gold rare, nicer rarity, it's about £2.50, £3. I know we're budget here, but come on. We can do an extra 50p per copy for just a nicey little shiny card. Chalice is great just simply because it has more than one use. Yes, its effect says negate one monster on your opponent's side of the field, but it's a little bit more than that. It could be kind of like a battle trap. So sometimes an extra 400 can go a long way to hitting over a certain type of monster. Also, even if someone says, oh, I don't care, I'm going to negate your Chalice, you've beat it and negate it. So it does its job in that respect. And one of the kind of the biggest reasons that I would even possibly play it, maybe over the Droplet, you don't have to discard cards. Some decks prefer that, but honestly, I think I prefer Chalice. Saying this as a poor person, not as a rich person, but that's my take on if you really want a Forbidden Droplet, just go chase the Forbidden Chalice instead. A lot better, more uses. That's my pick. So, second off, we've got one of the most powerful packages in the format at the moment, and it's the DPE package. So this package is very, very strong, but just usually you utilize Verte to go into it. You could hard draw the Destiny Fusions, which help as well, because you can kind of activate them after your plays, which is kind of neat. But, you know, DP sitting about £60-65. Fusion Destinies, it's at 2 now, but that's £10 each, another £20. And then depending on what Destiny heroes you want to run in it, they can vary in price. If you just want to put like a Celestial and a Plasma in rather than the Dasher, it's still costing you around about £100 for the whole package. So you're thinking to yourself, what can I possibly replace this with? Well, my answer for that, Rainbow Neos package. Yes, it's not as strong as the DP package, and it's more of a going second package, but if you have Verte and you can't afford the likes of Dragoon and DP, this is a very decent budget alternative. Rainbow Neos kind of goes for just £1 or so just because of the reprint and the gold sets. The fusion spell is about £5. The fusion materials are nothing, basically. Kind of just pointless. You can find them in bulk if you really wanted to. So it's a very cheap engine. And, you know, Rainbow Neos is kind of strong. It's just non-targeting, non-destructive removal. So you can get rid of your opponent's whole spell and trap board, the whole monster board. And one of the biggest parts about it that I think is very, very good, you can shuffle your opponent's graveyard into their deck. So against certain decks, this can kind of just kill them. You know, the likes of Eldritch being able to shuffle all their traps back and all their, maybe their Eldritch in the grave as well, back into their deck is kind of game sometimes, depending on when you do it. Plus, it's like an OTK engine. It's a very strong 4,500 attack, I believe. Could be wrong. If I'm wrong, just, you know, I'll edit something in of me saying, yeah, I'm an idiot. I'm pretty sure it is, though. I've used it a few times. So, yes, obviously it's not as strong as DP and Dragoon, but for what you're paying, I think it's a very decent budget Verte target alternative for any budget players to go for. So the final budget alternative that I'm going to talk about in this video is budget alternatives for Link. So the final budget alternative for an expensive card that I've got on this list is Latent Storm. So Latent Storms are going to cost you about 65, 60, kind of around, well, 55, 60, kind of give or take, depending on if you can get a good deal for it. So you're talking around £160 for the set, which is pretty expensive, kind of just for what the card does. So you're thinking to yourself, what is the budget alternative to Lightning Storm? Very simply, very plainly, it's Harpy's Feather Duster and Raigeki. There's this misconception about Raigeki that kind of goes throughout the competitive community anyway, where you look at a card like Raigeki and you say to yourself, it's a brick, it's pointless. There's better cards than it. You know, it's not great. In reality, it's a very good card if you really do think about it. It wipes the board if your opponent has no response, and if they do have a response, it's a negate bait, like Chalice in that way. So it's just a kind of a 1-for-1, if at its bare minimum, which is kind of good. So, well, also recently went to 3. So if you really, really wanted to play 3, depend on your deck. I wouldn't really recommend it too much, but go for 3 Lightning Storms. Go for 3 Regekis. If you really have a problem with getting rid of monsters, it does the job, doesn't it? And then just in terms of the spells and traps, Harpy's Feather Duster does exactly what Latent Storm does, without having to have the stipulation of not controlling the cards, which I don't particularly like. Harpy's Feather Duster does the job, in and out, same thing, negate bait if it has to be. You can also run stuff like Cosmic Cyclone as well as another good bet, Twin Twister also. So they're also very budget. They're kind of around £150, £2 a card as well. So in reality, there is these hype around this card, Lightning Storm. And again, it's a very good card. I'm not going to say it's not, but I don't justify the price when you have other budget alternatives out there. So all you budget players out there, rejoice. You don't have to pay all the money in the world for Lightning Storm, and you can just kind of fork out a few pounds for a Regeki and a few Regekis possibly, and a Harpy's Feather Duster / Cosmic Cyclones. So short and sweet. Budget video for you guys, just some little alternatives to some expensive cards. I had a little bit of trouble finding some alternatives for certain cards, like Pot of Prosperity. I couldn't really find any sort of similar type of thing for it. So if you have any ideas in the comments section, fire them down. I'd be very interested to see, like, maybe you can tell me a certain card that's a budget alternative for Prosperity, or maybe another expensive card. So yeah, looking forward to hearing any sort of information, any feedback for you guys, and hope everybody enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for some content. I've got some Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel content coming up. If you like Black Wings, keep an eye out for that. And I'll see everybody for the next video on the channel. Goodbye.